Hello everybody, this is Starman, and welcome back to Let's Play Betrayal at Krondor. Well, last time you remember, we cleared the area around Silden of Rusalki, have earned the favor of Erotis, the god of the sea, and we are currently in the village of Lyton, heading southward. Standing in front of the intricately carved door, Owen stepped forward. "These are magic symbols," said the magician. "Carved, no doubt, by magic means." "No, just a regular hunting knife." The figure of a small, elderly man followed the disembodied voice around the edge of the house. "I was only back tending to some chores. You're right about the symbols being magic, though. Carved them there myself. Name's Flaw Wiggin." Thrilled to be in the presence of another magician, Owen smiled and said, "It would have been easier to do it magically, Flaw. I suspect you're right about that, but I'm not a magician. No, it was my brother who had the gift. Died a couple of years back." The old man stared solemnly at the door for a moment, then suddenly, cheerfully, "Left behind a magic well, his legacy. It's guarded by a pretty nasty spell. Give you a good jolt unless I turn it off. You run right over to the well and I'll give you a drink. It'll fix you right up and set you back only 25 sovereigns. Yeah, you know, I think we will pass on the magic well, thank you. And used to be an inn, but not anymore. And nothing in that box. At least nothing yet. And ambush. Yeah, we don't even need the fog spell anymore. And another chest right on the road. It asks no questions, but demands many answers. Don't knock it until you're ready to see what waits on the other side. Well, this one, it's a bit funny to work out the exact word they want, but they give you the hint right there. "What knockers?" "I thank you, Doctor." And behold, the Temple of Limbs Kragma. And just to show you how far we've come, there's Temple Killian, Temple of Ishap, Temple of Dala, Temple of Tiff, which oddly enough, it's cheaper to teleport there than there. Temple of Kahuli, yeah, it's more to teleport to Killian. Temple of Banff. And we're going to come across a few more temples here besides, but yeah, just look how much space we've covered in my efforts to avoid the main storyline. There were no walls in the High Priestess's chamber. Lochler struggled to imagine how any such room could fit within the confines of the temple, seeming as vast as any river valley through which he'd ever passed. Even more startling had been the winding maze-like corridors the Death Acolyte had led them through to reach the room. "Few rush to speak to Our Lady. I am curious to know why you wish to converse with us," the High Priestess said softly. A gauzy black pavilion draped her throne, obscuring from view all but her life form, limned in witchlight, and a single pale foot which she rested upon a skull carved of onyx. "Why do you call on the drawer of nets?" Seeing no point in lying to her, Lochler shrugged. "Curiosity as much as anything, High Priestess. I wish to know a little bit more about what awaits me when I am no longer living, and you, short of the Mother Matriarch and Rillanon, are probably the one with the best answers. I do not like surprises. Unless you are prepared to devote your life to her services, I cannot help you. It is not something I may merely unfold for you in an hour or an afternoon," she said. "I will say this. There is no joy or love in her realm, but neither is there sorrow or pain. You have nothing to fear of her unless you swear the oaths of a Nighthawk." "Why? What would that mean?" "Pain everlasting," the High Priestess replied. "Those who are Nighthawks have sworn a dark oath, and those of them that are known as the Black Slayers swear the darkest oaths of all, allying themselves to other gods or goddesses who would hold them free of the portal of death at the price of their souls. Once a man becomes a Black Slayer, he may only be called into her halls by an invocation of Limbs Kragma herself, the prayer of final rest. And yes, this is a bit of a hint that there is a spell called Final Rest, which, once you knock down a Nighthawk or a Black Slayer, will prevent them from rising from the dead, which will be a problem when we start encountering our first Nighthawks. And, as I said, 770 sovereigns, much cheaper here. But yeah, we now have some fully equipped, best for our race equipment, and extra rapier. And 365 gold left to boot. Now, let's go back and face that ambush. Well, I may be too stealthy to fall for this ambush. They were being watched. Unsure where their observers were located, Locklear wheeled about just as a figure emerged from behind the trees. And, well, speak of the devils. Nighthawks! Now, the tricky thing with these guys is that since we don't have the Final Rest spell yet, we're going to have to drop them all very quickly and not let any of them get too wounded. And yeah, once they do get too wounded, they will run for it. That's the one reliable thing about these guys. Okay. Thankfully, we were able to drop the 3 of them. Yeah, one problem with these guys is that once they drop, it becomes all but impossible to distinguish them in a clump together. Got that one. Got that one. And yeah, I think Goraf got wounded, but did he get poisoned? Okay, he did not get poisoned, thankfully, because it looked like one of them hit him with a poison bolt. The name on the signpost had long worn away. Locklear squinted. While he was expecting to see the spires of some distant town or the smoke of a chandler's hearth fire at the twist of the road, he was surprised instead to see a grayish lump settled near a large clump of trees. "Have you ever heard of a gray dragon, Goraf?" Locklear asked. Goraf shook his head. "No, why?" "Because that what may be at the end of this road," Locklear replied. "Feeling brave, we could have a closer look." Well, we can, in fact, and dragon statue. Chiseled from dark stone, the statue of the dragon was rendered with frightening realism. Its burning gaze surely as malicious in stone as it had been in life. Most impressively of all were the yellow teeth and claws, stained cleverly at the tips of a red pendant to stimulate the blood drawn from an unfortunate victim. And yeah, there's a dragon stone hidden here. Ha ha ha. Well, we'll try and touch the statue. The statue is large. Walking around its base, Goraf couldn't help but admire the sinuous curve of the dragon's back, the whole of it covered with beveled scales. Rounding the tail of the creature, he called for Owen to come and have a look, but was startled by the clouded apprehension in the boy's blue eyes. "Something is wrong?" Goraf asked. Owen gasped as if to say something, then made a motion to the statue before collapsing to the ground. And yes, this is the Oracle of Aal. And yes, this is a character from the original Raymond Feist books. And a quick bit of explanation here. The Aal are one of the most ancient races in existence, if not one of the first races, apart from the Valharu. One of their number is a powerful oracle who does have unfailing visions of the future. And in A Darkness at Sephinon, Pug and Thomas travel to find the oracle in order to seek guidance for what they have to do to save the world. And they wind up having to make a bargain, which in this case is save the Alla and because they're on a world that is slowly dying, and give them someplace else to go. Well, it turns out that the Oracle has to possess a sentient being in order to continue their existence. And make a long story short, they make arrangements for the Oracle to take over the body of a great golden dragon that was rendered mindless. And they also have to heal the dragon's body and wind up, blinging it up, giving it jeweled hide, and it's a rather amazing thing. So from that point onward, apparently they set up these statues across Midkemia so that people may consult the Oracle without actually going where the Oracle lives, which, surprise, surprise, the Oracle is also acting as a guardian of Sephinon and the secrets that are hidden there. Anyway, greetings, Owen. Where am I? While your body is lying safe, still, and silent in a cove near Malac's Cross, your mind has journeyed elsewhere. Here. Your arrival has been expected. I am pleased to have you as my honored guest, Owen Belafort of Tyburn. Me? At Journey's End you shall not be as you are, nor may you turn back the way you have come. The times ahead of you will be filled with hardship, and many times you will believe yourself far less significant than you truly are. In the days to come you may stand at a critical juncture between Ryfar and Myfar, and if that comes to pass you should know this. A time comes for all things to die. Yeah, Ryfar and Myfar are the old gods of order and chaos, the first two gods in Feist Pantheon. What does that mean? Who are Ryfar and Myfar? I can explain in no measure more as you yet understand your world. In years and in wisdom you will come to me again, and a great destiny will be upon you by then. You will be ready for the fullness of truth on that distant day. Until such time you may consult me on other matters. Tales say that dragons know their own destinies, but I had not heard they knew the destinies of others. I am no dragon, though I wear a dragon's skin. I am the Oracle of Aal, and I am the last of my race. I am ancient, older than dwarf or elf, older than dragons, and older than the Valharu who were their masters. Stars that at my birth flamed with violent power have long grown cold, expired. All these things I have seen, and further yet I see into the things that might be. You can see the future? I can glimpse things that may be. Such was the gift given to all those of my race. Well, we can ask about Gorath and Delicon. So, Gorath. A Mordhel travels with us named Gorath. Is he what he says he is? Can we trust him? He is not what he names himself to be, though even he may not know the lie of his heart. He will be a strong ally unto you, and I believe he may even be a champion to the kin who now curse his name. A great destiny awaits him should he have the courage to renounce his pain. And Delicon. Gorath has told us of a Mordhel leader, Delicon. Will he cross the teeth of the world and attack the kingdom? Delicon will never cross the boundary between kingdom and Northlands, but through treachery he will strike a blow against both the kingdom and his own nations of the north. Can you be more specific? When is he going to strike? What is the nature of this treachery? I do not see futures as you imagine, but futures as they perhaps can be. I know only that Delicon engineers a deceit with 6 magicians, and that it concerns the fate of the kingdom. And that, unfortunately, is all we can get from the Oracle at this time, but that is still a fair bit. And we must avoid that house, for it has a terrible plague upon it, and the Temple of Lim's Kragma is not very helpful when it comes to healing magic. But we'll go ahead and continue westward. And I'll forego exploring the woods around here too deeply, because we will be exploring this area in detail in Chapter 2. And here is the road to Malac's Cross. Just in time for nightfall. Lochler studied the small road. Following with his eyes, he saw the road rise and fall, turning this way and that as it ascended in the distance, and toward a large town. Malac's Cross, Locklear said. Think we should go in for supplies? Yes. Let's see, the house. A man halted them. Ticket, he barked through gapped teeth. When Locklear failed to respond quickly enough, he leaned closer and shouted, Are you deaf? I'll need your lecture ticket. What if we don't have a ticket? Locklear replied. The man smiled an unpleasant smile, hooking his thumb at four extremely well-developed soldiers who looked to be members of Malac's Cross Constabulary. He squinted. Do you have tickets for this evening's lecture or no? No, Locklear said, backing him the street. We don't. Won't any trouble. We'll be leaving now. Okay, so we can't actually do anything in here just yet. But we can check this barrel out for extra rope. Not elvish made, but first things first, we'll go ahead and go to the temple. And it's a chapel of Ishap, which we can teleport in and out of here as well. And the priest here is a fellow named Abbot Graves, who will be rather, could be rather helpful, although it turns out he's not here in Chapter 1. The attendant priest looked nervous. Probably a boy of no more than 14 summers, he gawked at the strange visitors to the abbey. I don't know where Abbot Greaves might be. Last I saw him, he was hurrying off into town. I'm not sure when he will be back. But we can go to the shop and the inn, at least. Yeah, okay. But yes, in Chapter 2 and Chapter 3, there will be lectures that we can get tickets for at the temple and come here to hear. And looks like this is, in fact, weapon shop. Which reminds me, it's been a while since we've tended to our weapons. Yeah, I won't take that. We'll take a few poison corals, though. How did I get that extra shovel anyway? And we'll go ahead and check out the inn. Locklear motioned to the figure across the room. The man walked over to join them. He stood before them, eyebrows arched inquisitively. Look here, you ruffians. You're not students, are you? Of the Abbey, I mean. I've had quite a little trouble from them. No, just travelers on the way through. I've had that line before, but you look honest enough. We got a few rules here. Follow them, and I'm sure we'll be fast friends. Break them out of the three of you spit and roasted. We're listening. Swords, daggers, and other such stay in their sheaths. I don't tolerate no kind of killing in my establishment unless it's called for. 2. I don't allow no animals, especially if they're bandicoots, badgers, or salamanders. They get in soups and they upsets me dogs, and I won't have a bay and jag in the middle of the dinner hour. And lastly, under no circumstances whatsoever are you ever to use an en passant in this establishment. En passant? Now, if you don't even know what it is, I don't have to worry about it. Now, do I? What can I do for you? Yeah, we can actually, it says en pasha. It's the McKemie equivalent of the en passant, which is a chess maneuver, and if we ask about it, we'll get details. So let's go and ask about food. Any chance we could get something to eat around here? Wouldn't be much of a pub if you couldn't. Is it to eat here, or are you looking for something for the road? The road. If your cook can make up a bunch of rations, that would be fine. It's a done deal then if you put up 7 gold a pack. Still want them? I don't see a reason why I wouldn't. It's a reasonable price. Good then, I'll set a blaze under Daphne. She'll have them for you in a few moments. And yes, 7 gold for 14 rations. That is a phenomenal price, but we can knock even more off of it. Let's see, so who's got 3 extra packs? He's got 3 extra packs. Locklear could use another set of rations. Alright, yeah, the Abbey Ishap. The Abbey is developing quite a reputation, isn't it? I've heard a number of stories. I doubt you heard the stories I've heard about the place. They produce a few fine mines here and there, aye, but they're also a refuge for nobles which to get their sons out from underfoot. The majority of them are runts. And the few that aren't? The special ones, they're fine men, Ishap willing. They'll grow into fine dukes and barons and such. A lot of them have become wonderful tacticians. That's what the Abbey specializes in. A statue. We found the strangest thing earlier. It was a statue of a dragon out in the middle of nowhere. It was just standing in this little culvert with nothing around it. Found old Malac's kill, did you? He wasn't always in the middle of nowhere. Once a time he was just a hop, skip, and a jump down from the main road to the Malac's cross. But when the town moved, they left poor old Malac there to fend for his own. Why did they leave him behind? The only man that ever felt that Malac was a hero was Malac. Low-born folk out and hated him. Anyway, when the town began to fall into the new raids by Keshian raiders come up the Sea of Dreams, they say to move the center of the town from the Sea of the Abbey Ishap. Raiders wouldn't touch the town after that, seeing as how the brothers of Ishap first came from Kesh. Later, after things had settled down a bit, they decided to leave the statue there and let nature take it back. Strange thing about it, folks would have visited recently said never strange things about it. Said it was talking to them. And, yeah, slight change in the novelization of Betrayal at Krondor, Krondor the Betrayal, is that the statue is there and Owen still talks to it, but the statue is instead located in the middle of the town. Don't know why the change, apart from it being, you know, more convenient for them to wander across the statue while they're in Malac's Cross, apart from, hey, let's go wander out in the middle of the woods and check out that statue. So, chess. Any chance I could interest you in a game of chess? I don't play unless I'm making a wager. Makes playing interesting. What kind of stakes? 30, 40 sovereigns? I don't play unless the stakes are quite high. Emeralds, nothing less. Do you think you're good enough for stakes like that? Good enough, but I don't have emeralds. Wait, I thought I had an emerald. Right, and I thought I owned cash, but I let slide since you don't seem to be the dishonest type. Sorry, you've piqued my interest. What is an on pasha? I've seen quite a few variations of chess, but I don't think I've ever heard of that move. It's Keshian. One night I was playing with this fellow from Durban. I had my game swinging in my favor on one particular pawn, and then the game was in my favor. So what does he do? Move his pawn to the piece directly behind mine and claim to have captured my piece. That's an illegal move. So I said. He goes on to tell me that's one of the most fundamental moves of the game. We argued about it for 3 hours until a student ran from the Queen's Row to the Abbey to dig up an old book, and there it was, back of the text written in Keshian. The original rules to the game. On Pasha. Cost me 2 diamonds and very nearly the Queen's Row itself. Needless to say, I don't allow that rule to be played in here anymore. Last fellow who tried to use it on me is a fellow named Navandu Sandhu, and I set him straight, though he showed me an incredible movie invented called Sandhu's Retreat. Can't quite remember how it worked now, though. And yes, there's another reference to Navan. Well, it's been nice chatting with you. I think we may hang about a bit and chat with some of the students. Whatever you like. Me, I've got dishes to tend to. And yeah, these guys don't exactly look like students. And there is one more person of note we can talk to here, although she is not a student either. And her little digital voice file is, "The name is Grand Patruma." Locklear motioned a figure across the room. The woman nodded and made her way across the wooden floor until she was standing before them. "By my soul, our petitions are heard. Finally, one of the prince's men have come. Have you come about— Ah! You have an elf! Though Forgath looks frightful enough, I assure you that he is of no danger to you. What is this petition you speak of, good woman? As I live and breathe, not one word will pass my lips as long as he is here, and that's the truth of it. Not one word more. I will leave you to your duties, Locklear. Should you need me, I will be close at hand. Thank you. He is gone now. What cause do you have to call on Prince Aruf's aid? I sent to the prince for something must be done in Sephanon. If he would bend his ear to us, he would hear that it hails what passes in the dim wood. There are lights there, awful fairy lights that have been seen in the woods and always prefigure some calamity. Surely they are only tales. If they are tales as sensible folk tell. I have seen these very lights with my own 2 eyes, watched their demon jig in the night, even as my husband fell senseless and breathed his last. There is some terrible evil there. I shall make no promises, but we will do what we can. And yes, if we do approach Sephanon, we will find that there are indeed evil things there. And you know what? I'm thinking maybe we might just give that a go next time. We'll see you then.